All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube exclusive, as they all are, BTP Reacts episode.
Shitty intro. Shitty intro.
It is St. Patrick's Day, as you know, probably if you can tell by the title of what news we're talking about. So, yeah. Josh isn't with us because he's busy doing fun St. Patty's Day things with his family. So it'll just be Daniel and
He's
I.
probably already smashed.
Yeah, probably. But better to start early so you go to sleep early so you can sleep longer and recover for the next day of work.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So in case you somehow missed the news, we'll go ahead and play the super long video of it here.
Yeah, no, the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. We'll play the whole thing right here.
Do not underestimate the women in this tower.
Yeah, and we definitely got a letter from Wheel of Time on Prime allowing us to do that. So we won't get a cease and desist letter.
Yeah. So from the video itself, we see, like, I think the only real indicator, obviously, other than seeing Rosamund Pike as Moiraine, at least from the Adam's apple up, and not even the full
the hair,
top of it.
Basically.
Yeah, basically the hair and the face and the earrings. It's very much Moiraine. There's some other stuff I thought about it, but the Q&A that Rafe did after kind of covers it.
Yeah.
And of course, we see like some artifacts floating around. Could be, some people have tossed out that it could be snow. I'm thinking early season one, because everything else has been stuff we see early season one. It doesn't spoil anything from like later on in either one. So yeah, you gotta get those flakes out of there. I think it might be more likely that this is a scene from Winter Night, and it's like ash falling and raining.
I can almost guarantee that it's ash.
Yeah. And this is like Moiraine coming out and be like, okay, it's time to do something. And
all right, it's time to come out and talk about my Netherin.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, like from this one, I mean, there's definitely like plenty of things that you can glean from it. And I think we'll touch on more of it in the Q&A. But the alt text for the video, which I will play on loop while I'm talking here, because I'm going to copy other YouTubers because I don't know what I'm doing. The video opens on darkness as we hear the sounds of a powerful energy in the background. A woman's voice says, "Do not underestimate the women in this tower." We then see Golden Globe winner Rosamund Pike emerge with her eyes closed. It's Moiraine, legendary Aes Sedai of the Blue Ajah. As she opens her eyes, light flows around her before the video ends with a bright flash. Interesting that they left out anything. They probably left out the artifacts floating around because they didn't want to accidentally give away what it was.
Yeah. Because it's definitely one of those things where if you know by look, you know. And if you don't, like, it is technically a spoiler. It absolutely is, because anything shown that isn't known to people already is technically a spoiler. But I'm very gray area on the, like, things that are...
I mean, it's cinematic. If you've watched the movie 300, you're familiar with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can think, the scene like before the little boy comes running up to Leonidas, and you see all the ash falling. It looks just like that, just hyper zoomed in on Moiraine's face.
Yeah. So no, it's good stuff. I liked the video, and I really appreciate all of the short sweetness to most of the videos, because again, it really is doing a very good job of skirting that line between showing you anything that you actually don't want to see because you want to see it in the show, and getting you excited about different things, and like teasing you a little bit on like, okay, well, this is a little bit how this looks in the show. This is a little bit how this is going to look in the show, blah, blah, blah. But again, without like really fucking up anything with the story.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one of the other things, the most obvious thing, and it was called, I think, after the second teaser, was the kind of trope of something old, something new, something borrowed, someone blue.
Sure.
She is a vibrant, strong, independent woman. She is not a something. She is a someone.
But her robes and her earrings and whatnot are blue, so maybe they're not talking about Rosamund, dick.
I mean, there is a blue glow to her hair as the light comes up, but otherwise there's nothing blue in the teaser.
Technically not.
Yeah.
But she is an Aes Sedai of the Blue Ajah.
Oh, yeah. We know.
She is something blue.
Yeah. So on to the more informative thing of the Q&A. Of like Rafe has done a few times, said that he will answer 10 questions on his Instagram after the reveal of Moiraine on Twitter. Guys, I'm sorry if I seem rushed. I was like 35 minutes late because of work to starting this, so I still feel rushed.
He's fine.
Anyway,
give him encouragement. I know that it'll be late because this won't go up today, but
yeah. So the question was asked, where is her jewel, the Cassiera, or however you say it, Cassiera, whatever.
The Cassiera.
Sir, the Quinceañera. Where's her Quinceañera jewel?
The Quinceañera.
And Rafe did confirm that it will appear in the show.
Yep.
He also confirmed that he correctly spelled it the first time and only had to Google it to make sure.
Let's not go through all of the Q&A things because I do want people to go and look at it. It's definitely worth watching. Rafe is a very charismatic guy.
Here's a very easy way to just pick out one or two.
Yeah.
Well, before we do that,
okay.
We have a guest that has no idea that she knows she's about to come in. But yeah, no prep time for this one.
Yes. Perfect.
We're bringing you straight into the stovetop kettle that's been on there for hours, which is some weird way of saying it's very hot. Because we're recording our BTP React segment on the teaser today. News, teaser, whichever way. And we talked a little bit about the teaser and everything. Not a couple things to say about it, but not that much. But we're talking about the Q&A now. And to avoid going through and talking about every single one of them and encouraging people to go back and watch the answers or read the answers and see it for themselves, Daniel has posed a question that neither of us have answered yet. Which question and answer was your favorite, if you've gotten a chance to look at them?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look. I saw the teaser. I did that much.
Yeah.
Nice.
I literally just read them like 5 minutes ago.
He did. It was funny. I watched him do it.
Yeah, I don't even wake up until 2:00, and I had to drive my wife to work, so it's only like 4:50 here. So
I wish I would.
Yeah. So yeah,
where are you?
Questions? I'm in Oregon.
Nice. Yeah.
So there's a couple. Let's see. Let me find one that I think really pointed out. So one I really liked was that was asked was and I think it was more as like a bit of a snide comment. Somebody probably unimpressed with the teaser, but whatever. Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potate.
Yeah.
But the statement / question was, that doesn't look ageless. Is this something that is being reworked? And Rafe's answer was VFX that requires you to touch every frame that a character appears on screen is not a great use of money. So don't expect to see CGI faces on all Aes Sedai. And I think it's interesting because he says on all, which means there may be some on some.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's pretty snarky for one thing. And secondly, I mean, okay, like Rosamund Pike's younger than I am, and we're using a Zoom filter. I look pretty good, I mean, come on. I think that, what are you going to complain about? I think that they'll probably do pretty good.
Zoom has filters. I need this right now. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, no, they totally do. I didn't know that either. And I was recording on Watt spoilers for the Tangents of Chaos, and we switched to Zoom, and we're like, holy shit, we can make ourselves look younger and take all the dark circles out from under our eyes. And yeah,
but that's what gives me character. I don't have anything without that.
Well, for everyone else who is vain,
it gives me glowing skin.
Yeah, the thing that made me successfully quit smoking in my 20s was finally like, I'll prematurely wrinkle. I had tried and tried. I smoked all throughout my 20 teens and could not successfully quit. And then I'm like, I can't prematurely wrinkle.
Smoking
vanity.
is terrible. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, vanity.
Yes, winking is the worst.
I don't know that vaping does the same like wrinkling though. So
no, I'm just gonna give myself vapors lung and slowly drown in vape juice as it builds up over years. Apparently,
even like vaping, like weed cartridges, I get like wheezy. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I live in the Bible Belt where that's frowned upon because everybody's lame.
Yeah.
Anyway. I live in California where almost everything is allowed as long as you don't tell certain people. So.
I live in the weed capital of the world. I can walk to 4 different dispensaries. So yeah.
Same.
I mean, that's everywhere. If you keep it quiet, you can get away with a lot of stuff.
You're not wrong. I mean, that makes sense.
All right. So what did you think about that question, other than the snarky part of it? Like, did the answer tell anything other than like what maybe I mentioned, like that there's a hint that there will be some CGI on some of the Aes Sedai faces?
Yeah, I would think on the faces being played by people who are older, they might use a bit of CGI, but for the rest, yeah, I figure they'll probably do some type of like Zoom or Snapchat filter, because yeah, it works pretty well for anyone who's in their 40s or going around there. I think they'll save it for anyone who's an Aes Sedai who's in their 60s or something.
I also love how, to me, I mean, and I know that this is 100% an opinion, Rosamund Pike is actually one of those people who, to like, very much looks like she could be anywhere from 22 to 60.
She does, yeah.
Like Jennifer Aniston.
Right?
Hey, she's in her 50s. Ah, bullshit.
But she looks like older and wiser. When I found out that she was younger than I was shocked. Not because she looks old, but because I was just like, but she seems so like someone who should be paid.
Right? No, and honestly, I love all those like the pictures on things like Imager or Reddit or whatever that are like, how old are you? And the person's like somewhere between 400 and 300. And the person's like, what? Show me a picture. And then they show the picture and the person has like super baby face, but also like a bunch of wrinkles. And you're like, how does this happen? And so I think they just cast all the Aes Sedai as those kinds of people.
Makes sense, yeah.
What was your favorite question and or answer there, Daniel?
So my favorite one was actually one of the things that we've talked about a number of times before this in the other teasers that Rafe kind of answered, though not necessarily specifically for those other ones, only for this one, but it definitely gives a strong suggestion of what happened in the others, which was is the audio disconnected from the scene of Moiraine? And he said specifically, yes, Rosamund actually recorded this audio for the teaser specifically, so you won't hear the exact audio in the show, which again goes to, the other ones that we've seen with Matt and the voice that's, like, let's make a deal, different things like that are very much, people who have read the books are sitting there being like, I don't know who that would be or where that would be in the show necessarily, because it feels like it's 2 different moments that are sort of smashed together. And I feel like this kind of answers that question of, no, these teasers are fully separate. There may be some similarity of audio from teaser to show, but it's not necessarily that the teasers are what you'll see. So I was excited about that, because there have been a couple of things that have happened where I'm like, that doesn't seem like it fits right there.
I mean, yeah, that's completely fair.
They make their teasers extra teasy. Yeah, I didn't think like it went with it, for one thing, because when I was first wondering that, I was like, are they going to show her like going to capture Logain? Is that going to happen ahead of time? And she's going to be battling or whatever. But I figured it was probably more just either she was going to say that at a different time, or the idea that they basically are having her say it to the audience instead. Perhaps the audience of people who haven't read WAT yet is actually kind of cool. I like that.
Sweet.
Oh my God. If we just have a bunch of Moiraine breaking the 4th wall. She's the Deadpool of the WAT.
I like it.
God.
So of course the one I chose as my favorite is the absolute freaking longest answer. I'll try to paraphrase.
Tomorrow?
No, not that one. Honestly, like personally, I hate these like really stupid gimmicky questions that are just like, oh, we're trying to be silly and funny, and I'm just like, how about no? But then again, Rafe has free reign to choose which he answers, so he makes the choice to answer that, and so I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate the player. I'm just gonna hate the game.
Ton of questions that he just can't answer because either it would just be waffle, or he'd give something away if he actually did it.
I mean, he waffled one, but then was like, maybe that doesn't work here.
Yeah.
So he waffled one that, we might find out that they did it because like initially they just happened to do Tam's sword, then Tom's guitar, and somebody was like, oh, it fits this thing, and they're like, huh, let's do that. But the one I like the most, of course, the question was asked, what direction was Rosamund given about facial expressions and body movements and all that? And is this something that's going to be universal through channelers, or is it going to be more organic for each? And essentially Rafe was talking about how he really wanted the emotions, the facial expressions, the actions to come from the people playing the characters and what would fit with the characters themselves, which I think that's a really good decision because it's going to make it feel more realistic. And that's kind of, he hints at that towards the end, where he says, the most important thing is that when you look in the actor's eyes, they believe they have the power of the earth itself at their fingertips. And I promise you, Rosamund does. So I think it's a really cool decision. You're like, hey, this, take what you understand and what you're thinking about it and filter it through the lens of your character that you're playing, that you're immersing yourself in, and do what you think they would do. If they're going to, do the whole, like, to bring up mountains and stuff, then do that. If you think they would just be like, flick, then do
mountain.
Her body acting is amazing. I don't know if you've seen it, but she does a video for Massive Attack called Voodoo in the Blood or something, where she does this whole scene that's part of like it's taken out of some type of horror movie, which I don't watch any movies ever, so sorry.
No, you're fine.
But it's a really good video, and it just shows this range of her acting because it's like it's computer generated, like superimposed over, she's like dancing with this weird drone orb or whatever, and so she does the whole like the dancing and the motions with it, and it's impressive. And just watching that, because like my wife hasn't read Water or anything, but she loves Rosamund Pike and she loves that video, and so when she watched that, she's like, she's gonna be so good at being able to just do the motions of channeling, and you can just tell. So yeah, I think that's great.
I totally agree. I've seen, a number of things that she's done, and so I very much feel like I will believe her. I do hope that there is a little bit of consistency between different groups of channelers. Like if the wise ones actually seem like they're all very much on a similar page when they're channeling, when the Aes Sedai seem like they're very much on a similar page when they're channeling and things like that, because it would make a lot of continuity sense of who's teaching who and the different things that is more of that like mental understanding of channeling of like, oh, hand motions aren't actually a part of this for the wise ones, and like sisters of like, no, hand motions are part of it because we've always done it this way kind of thing. But at the same time, I really do super appreciate since like those of us who have read the books know that it's in so many ways mental, that each individual channeler would absolutely have their own habits, would absolutely have their own way of thinking about it, of like, all right, cool, when I throw a fireball, I need to throw a fist. When I throw a fireball, I need to throw a ball, like different things like that to reinforce it is mostly inside each individual to figure out how they channel.
We've got to figure even just individual people have, different range of motion capabilities depending on how stretchy they are, or just even how old they are, and I don't know, it seems to be part of RJ's canon that just the one power in general tends to make your body, wear out less, which must be really nice. Once you get to that age where you have to like strategically calculate how you roll over in bed, that's no good. So
I already do that.
Oh, I know, it sucks. So But yeah, so you're gonna figure that just I don't know. Rafe seems to be the kind of guy who is really interested in letting his actors act and do their thing for themselves. You know, I heard that he's letting them use their own accents and just kind of, you know, go with it. And so I can't imagine him being a micromanaging director, which is nice.
Yeah. No, I've definitely heard that about different shows that he's worked on, that he is incredibly knowledgeable about the product that he's putting out, but he also gives it away to a lot of different people to be able to do. So like Zachary Levi on the set of Chuck used to say all the time that like he'd have conversations with Rafe where Rafe would be like, oh, well, you know, let's talk about this scene. And he'd go into it in such minute detail of like different things that he'd like Zachary to think about. And then he would like at the end of the conversation or like multiple times in the conversation be like, but, you know, how would you do it? Let's talk about what you think Chuck would do. Like what you think the character is feeling and thinking and doing during all of these things. And he was like, the first few scenes that we did like on set were so overwhelming because he'd come to me and have this huge conversation with me about 12 things I didn't even think about. And then like by the end, he was like, we were just sitting there talking for 20 minutes about different scenes and it was great. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, as in the following days, if not already before this video goes live, there'll be plenty of other Wheel of Time content creators and just fans of Rafe and stuff that post a ton of content, talk about it in the podcast, do YouTube videos on it that go far more in depth than we ever do because we're always short on time. And I have work, so I can't spend a ton of time sitting there studying every frame of it like some people can. And I'm glad that you can. I wish I could. But this is kind of like just, you know, well, you know by now, if you've watched this one, you probably watched the others. So this has been our little BTP Reacts thing talking about the teaser and the Q&A today on St. Patrick's Day about the teaser for Moiraine. So links to the initial tweet from Autumn Prime will be in the description below, as well as a link to the Watch series write-up of Rafe's Q&A. And if I remember, I'll try to throw a link to Rafe's Instagram in there as well. Though if he did it on his stories, like I suspect he did, it's probably might be gone by the time you get there if it's been more than 24 hours. But you can go and check that kind of stuff out. In the comments down below, let us know what you thought. What was your favorite question and or answer from it? What's some stuff that gave you more hope for the show? What's something maybe you're concerned about? And don't bitch about it being a 5-second clip that didn't really show you that much, because you can take that negativity back over to Facebook where it belongs. So yeah, so
just saying,
we're gonna go record an episode for the actual podcast.
And how?
Indeed.
Yeah. All right, thanks guys.